Hello guys, hi, welcome to the Two Dogs.
Yes, hi, welcome to Two Dogs. Today is a little bit special. We are actually doing Zoom.
Yes, we are doing the
Zoom
bedroom
podcast.
edition.
Oh yeah, you can
The,
actually
ward,
see,
the,
you
the
can see
wardrobe
my
edition.
bedroom behind.
Yeah, you can see my wardrobe at the back. This is my study, so
Yeah,
you get all the junk at the back there.
yeah. This is actually not my. This is actually not my wife. This is actually not my wife. And this is actually not me.
Okay,
This is
all
actually
right.
not me. It's my brother's room. It's my brother's room. Okay, so what are we talking about today, Ali?
Oh, today we have something quite interesting. It's called entitlement,
Okay.
and perhaps looking into the perspective of taking things for granted.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a topic that happens because of the way that many people are and how they behave.
Mm-hmm.
And you have you met people who sort of like give you that the attitude that because they were, let's say, smart,
Mm-hmm.
therefore they deserve a special treatment.
So we are talking about the negative aspects of entitlement. Things
We start with that first lah. We start with the gossip first. After the gossip, then we talk about the positive stuff lah.
Well, entitlement, I think, does happen to a lot of people. I think even myself. So sometimes I feel that it's my right to demand something because of either what I believe in or my experience in certain fields that I demand respect. And I'm entitled to this particular respect. If you don't know my name, then you have not done your homework of sorts. Yeah. So I think entitlement happens to a lot of people. However, I think most of us have to put our egos aside lah.
Yeah, but you're right. Even myself, I think there will always be points whereby I think those will probably be I would say taking things for granted, that because we were qualified in such fields or who we are, therefore we felt deserve that respect. I think even myself, as when we first graduated as doctors, and you come out and suddenly not just entitlement, but you were bestowed upon with the title of doctor. Now wherever you go,
exactly.
right, it's like you make reservations. It's no more Mr. Aly. It's like excuse me, it's doctor.
It's doctor. Yeah, it's doctor.
Like it or not, we've all used it. We've abused it somehow, and
yeah, of course.
And sometimes even if you don't want to, someone will still say and use it. Don't mess around. He's a doctor. That kind of thing. But I'm not sure about you, but sometimes I get people who, I've had job applicants in the past, and they feel because of certain things they ought to, they get special treatment, especially when they come for a job, like because they're smarter than the rest of us, or maybe because they are more exposed to today's technology knowledge. To be fair, they see a lot more stuff. Yep. On the surface, they do know a lot more, and they like to jump the queue of seniority, or they feel entitled to be able to overstep their boundaries sometimes. Have you had that kind of experience before?
Well, job applicants, not really, because I usually when I speak to job applicants, I usually already tell them what's already expected of them. So far, job applicants, no, not much entitlement. Of course, permanent staffs, yes, they are. So after working with me for, like, say, a couple of years, once they are slightly more senior, then they start asking for their, they start asking for certain rights lah, which were never there, were never written down in black and white. Something like they are entitled to not work so hard that day, because they work hard the day before, so they deserve a more relaxing, a more chill clinic day, even though every day is a busy day.
Yeah.
So, and then they say, oh, because I'm more senior, I'm gonna ask the more junior ones to actually do my work, because I'm entitled to my rest, and because of my position, I'm entitled to bully them or push their buttons of sorts. Yeah. So that has happened in my organization before. Of course, eventually I have to set them straight. I say, you know what, you are not entitled to this. You know, neither it's never been written in black and white that just because you work for me X amount of years, slightly longer than someone else, doesn't mean that you can get things your way. All of us work as a team.
Yeah. The other thing that commonly happens is people confuse rights.
Yes.
No, rights, the entitlement of rights versus privilege, and this is very common when it comes to annual leave.
Yeah.
So when you sign the contract, it says, oh, you're entitled to 14 days of annual leave.
Yep.
And then they said, okay, I'm going to take next week off, doc. That's it.
Yep.
And when you say, you might need to postpone it because we're busy.
Yeah.
No, it's my right.
It's my right. Yep.
All right. So it's written in the contract. I'm entitled to, therefore it's my right. Now, I think in private sector it's a bit hard to dispute, but in the government sector, very interestingly, there's a very distinctive word that they use when it comes to your cuti or your leaves. It is not known as hak. Itu bukan hak, tapi itu kemudahan.
Kemudahan.
Yes. It's a privilege.
Yeah, it's a privilege.
So taking leave, it's a privilege, but it is not your right. So
now that is different.
So,
but that is different. But in the private sector, it's written there black and white by the Labour Office that it's an entitlement. It's their right to actually take 14 days off. However, of course, there is always a clause, subject to approval, subject to your head of department approval or your boss's approval.
But I think here comes the conundrum as a business owner. On one hand, you want to be fair, you want to be nice to them and say, okay, if we can allow, you can go. But if I can't, can you postpone it? Yep. And on the other hand, you might meet someone who says, doc, I'm sorry, it's my right. I got to go means I got to go.
Yeah.
And here comes the last bit, skilled workers. Then you're like, if I don't let you go, I'm stuck.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They'll just tender their resignation and say, bye, doc.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
That is true. That is true.
I think whoever's listening in, this is one bit about being an entrepreneur, business owner that you have to really realize. I read your blog on LinkedIn on your 2,222 days as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, man.
And so I like your topic one. Most difficult thing to do: handle HR.
Yeah, HR is the most, I think almost all business owners will tell you the easiest thing is actually to handle, numbers and finance, because those things have no emotions. They don't talk back to you. People, on the other hand, they are fickle. Basically, if let's say you have an organization of 10 people, it's 10 different minds. You have to jaga hati lah. Malay call jaga hati.
Sometimes it's more than 10 different minds.
Yes,
you know why?
That's right.
Because, like me, talam dua muka, there's 2 minds. And that's only if talam dua muka.
That's true. So HR is always the most difficult. And I think almost all business owners / entrepreneurs will say the same thing. HR is always the most difficult. It's more difficult. It's the most difficult part is to manage people. Yes. Right? Because again, coming back to entitlement, a lot of people think they are entitled to certain rights.
Yeah.
They're entitled to certain rights, they're entitled to certain leaves, they're entitled to certain rights within the organization. They think they should have more rights than other people.
Yeah, which comes to the second part of the topic, which is taking things for granted. That's the way it is. You take for granted that because I've been in this. Let's say I work for you, Dr. Ingky, and I've been with you for like 2 years. I'm more senior than the 1 year. By the time I hit my 5th year, some of them have left. I'm like the second most senior. I'm entitled to, or I take it for granted that it's automatically granted, like as though I'm the manager, even though maybe I'm not really that skillful to handle the business. But that's the kind of entitlement or taking things for granted attitude that some of us tend to move towards too. We gravitate towards it. And you're right, in HR, it's difficult because on one hand, these are loyal people who've been with you, who've proven that they are there for you. But on the other hand, you don't have that skill set to reach that position that I want you to do, even though, let's say, we train you. But if you can't, then we have to retain you at this level with just incremental pay lah. But I don't know. Have you been through that? Because for me, I've been through it a couple of times, and then they feel that, well, not in my practice per se, but when I was working for private sector, then they feel that, oh, you don't respect me. I've been loyal to you, and I deserve that kind of automatic promotion, and not
Of
you hired.
course. Yeah. I mean, I've even had staff that told me, "Hey, doctor, your work is actually very easy. I can actually do what you do." Well, it's because I make things look easy, right? Because of with the experience and all, we make things seem easy, but they are actually not that easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had staff actually told me in the face, doctor, it's not difficult to do what you do. I can do the same thing. I can go out, I can joint venture with some other doctor, and we can replicate everything which you do. So you say, if you don't give me what I'm entitled, I will do that. I will set up beside you. I'll be your competitor. So a lot of times, they feel that they're entitled to certain things, and then they start pushing your buttons, and they start telling you a lot of stuff, and start demanding things.
That's the difficult part. I think if we switch it over to a little bit more of a positive note, I think if we've got a fair amount of youth listeners that listen in on this.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so for those who are in your youth and you're just starting in your career, or you're within the first 10 years, this is my experience. I'll share what I do. Of course, fresh grad, a bit airheaded, doctor.
Same lah. Even as a doctor, when you first graduate, right? Really, you don't know anything, man.
Yeah, you really don't know anything, and then you try to push the nurses around, and nurses just look at you like, budak kecil, you tak tahu.
Ya, budak kecil. I makan lagi banyak garam daripada anda lah.
Yeah. So, but I think when you have to keep yourself to the ground and humble, and no matter whatever the title is, no matter what the background is, you have to slog like as though you're the mailroom boy kind of feeling.
Yeah.
If there's a chance to learn what the mailroom boy does, you should learn how to do the mailroom boy.
Yeah.
Then you move on to the cleaner, the janitor. You learn everything they do. Then we're not saying go and apply that job position if you're more qualified. Apply for your qualified position, but you got to know what they all do, what they face. Then you don't take things for granted. You don't realize that the toilet doesn't get cleaned by itself. When someone poops around the floor, how difficult it is to clean someone else's shit, and it's not your own shit kind of thing.
So how would someone, if someone has achieved a significant amount of experience, a significant amount of success, how should they act so that they don't feel entitled?
I don't think there's much to act, but I think those who,
or what should they do? What should they do in order for them to be not perceived as entitled?
I think a lot of times is taking that slightly wiser person up on the mountain role. You just sit there and you just be very quiet. You look at them, then you smirk. You got that sarcastic look on your face, but you don't say it much. But always there to sort of lend pointers. I find to avoid having that entitled projection is to also understand those who seem to have those projections and reach on level with them, and you have to pretty much be at par and speak to them and spur them to be better than who they are. I think we come from a very unique generation, you and I, because we're just like a year apart, so.
No, different generation. Totally different. Apparently, from 81 onwards, they call them the millennials. So I'm actually a millennial, even though it's a year apart.
Yeah, by next year, you're welcome to the 40 old farts club already. Okay,
40 already next year.
Enjoy your couple of months. It's all stuck with MCO. You can't enjoy your 39 properly. Okay.
Okay, so
I find we are in a very unique generation. We were stuck with traditional management of people. whereby score, and then, you know, sometimes the files will fly towards your face,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to do the whole matrix thing and avoid. They'll berate you, everything. Those kind of things can be done. And for our seniors, if we sort of like, if we were lazy, we'd even question authority. If we were lazy, they will look at this and say, you're very entitled, huh? You special, huh?
Yeah.
Well, now it's not about laziness. I find the new generation, they're not always lazy, like with the normal human habit of being lazy, but some of them are actually just bored. They're bored because whatever they do maybe does not challenge them enough, or whatever they do, they feel if they don't see that future benefit that is within the near future, then they feel like, oh, why am I doing this? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm overqualified for this job, and you know, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
That would then be perceived by people of our generation as laziness, but in actual fact, maybe it's not. It's just bored.
Now, people, I would say youngsters these days, or people starting in the workforce these days, they have very short-term matrix. Example, people of the older generation, people like, you know, in my dad's generation and all, they have very long-term metrics to actually count. You know, for them, success comes when they can retire comfortably. You know, they will slog through their entire life and they retire comfortably. That is their version of success. But someone much younger now, you know, who just completed university, they have usually now they have very short-term metrics. That means, oh, I want to be a millionaire when I'm 28. You know, I want to have this and that. I want to drive this big car. I want to be, you know, flying over the world when I'm at the age of 30. And most of the time, it's not feasible. You know, this kind of short-term metrics are actually not feasible. And because they feel that, hey, I'm really overqualified for the job. You know, I've a bachelor degree from so and so university. I'm not going to do whatever you tell me to do. Because I, again, like as we mentioned, I feel entitled. You know, it's my right to ask for more. Even though the position doesn't offer much. So yeah, there is definitely a mismatch there. Then actually, I blame parents. You know, end of the day, it's all parenting errors. You know, it's all parents' fault. The kid didn't grow up like that. You know, it's always due to the household. You know, how the parents taught them. And what I feel like one of the things that are actually making kids feel more entitled. Example, these days, right? If you watch a sports day, right? When you watch a sports day,
I know where you're going.
Prior to this, right? Only the winners, the first, second, third place, they get medals.
Yes.
But now the first, second, third place get medals, and everyone gets a participation medal.
Award.
Yeah. But the thing is, you lost. You lost. You shouldn't be getting a participation award in the first place. And then the child then grows up, you know, feeling entitled that every time I do something, I must be rewarded.
Correct.
Yes, I have to be rewarded for it. Yes, I need to be compensated for my time or my effort. I need to be rewarded. And all this actually stems from the parents. Or stems from what the parents are afraid to let their kids down. You know, they're afraid the kids will cry when they lose, and then they start pestering the schools for them to hand out all these participation medals, and then it grows up. I mean, it seeps into the child's psyche and mentality as they grow up.
I agree. I really agree, because I've seen some known friends or associates, siblings, whereby it happens. So the thing is, now education goes a lot into private education. So and it's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Freaking not cheap. You know,
it's not cheap.
let's just go simple college. Okay, so most I would say let's be outright. Most non-boomies at the end of the day would say it's not going to be easy to go into a public U, so they have to sort of like back up into a private university or private college. And whatever the cost is, then you've got your local ones, then you've got your training program, then you've got the full overseas board thing. And it's not uncommon for them to spend, a six-figure?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's not uncommon for them to even, once they finish their degree, say, you stay on overseas, don't come back. Do your masters.
Yeah.
Come back with your masters. then you're smarter, can get better job, more qualified.
Yep.
Papa will pay for you. That kind of mentality, you know. I mean, it's okay, it's fine. But if you come back and with no experience, and you get a job at 2,000 ringgit, it doesn't even pay whatever your parents invested. And you took a 30-year loan, doesn't even pay off. You know, your salary doesn't pay off that so-called education loan by market matrix. So I've heard of people whereby the parents just say, "Oh, 1,008, 2,000, better you don't work. Stay at home. I pay you. You'll be my secretary." I kid you not.
Waste, then.
That's a true story.
Really? It's a true story.
It's a true story.
Oh my God, what a waste. You might as well don't send your child for the education in the first place.
Correct.
Save the money. Just employ him as a secretary at the age of 17. Straight up the SPM.
Correct.
Yeah. So for me, the way I judge someone whether they are entitled or not is very simple. I always see how they treat someone they perceive is under them, right, or below them. And more often than not, I always watch how they actually treat the service staffs. Example, how they actually treat waiters or waitresses in restaurants. So someone who is entitled because they come in and say, you know what, I'm a paying customer, I'm entitled to certain services. So because of that, then they will they will be rude to the servers, to the waiters. You know, they will throw tantrums when things don't go their way. And even though it's by no fault of the waiter, of the way or the waitress, that certain things turn out wrong. Maybe the order turns out wrong, or the air conditioning is too cold. It's not their fault. But more often than not, these people get berated by people who feel more entitled. Yeah. So that's actually, for me, that's a very simple judge of character. When I see you being horrible to a service staff, you are generally an entitled SOB.
Yeah. There's a saying that says, how you do something is just about how you do everything.
Yes, that's right.
That's right. That's the way you're gonna behave. That's pretty much your character. Your facade of respect for certain people, it's just a facade. It's for sure. Because there's something you want out of them.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, but that's a very nice way. That's a very easy way to judge, and I think it's something that, you know, if people are hanging out with friends, you know, you're making friends, just see your other friend and see if the kind of character they have. You have to question: is this the kind of character that you want to hang out with and be associated with? Because you have a choice to pick your friends, and if you don't pick your right friends, again, the other saying says that you are the sum of your 5 closest friends.
Yes, that's right.
Because we all,
that's right.
We flock around the people that we like, and if you're like that, you flock around them. Eventually, that's you are the average of the sum of your friends, which is totally true. So if you actually mix around people who are entitled, at the end of the day, you feel that it's your right as well, then you feel entitled. If you mix around people who are extremely humble, then, you know, at the end of the day, you'll be very humble. If you mix around people who are lazy, at the end of the day, you'll be lazy. You know, that is right. Yep. But at the end of it, I think everyone needs to sort of like realize. I think most people needs a kind of like a slap in the face, you know.
Yeah,
actually, but unfortunately, you can't physically do that to most people. So
yeah, I mean, I would say the best is, well, don't try and change someone. The most important is try to change yourself. Everything starts from home. Everything starts from home. Starts with yourself, and then if you have, you know, your family, you know, it starts from family as well. Even on days I try, you know, on days I feel like, you know what, I'm a bit arrogant today, you know, my mood is not so good, you know. But on days I would still have to consciously tell myself, you know what, you can't be that asshole. You know, you can't be that nasty. You know, you have to be nice. You have to be nice to people, even though it's been a bad day, or even though things are not going your way. You know, don't be nasty to people. So I think the only person that can change is myself. I can only change myself. I can't change anyone else.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's easier to be the one who changes. You change yourself, and you try to be sort of a positive role model. That's it. And,
Yes.
and if they come to you and if they model after you, great. And
Yes, that's right.
and it's difficult or probably not very advisable to go on preaching. So you don't
Yes.
preach. You can't preach to a cow and tell the flirt to neigh like a horse.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, yeah, you definitely can't change someone that refuses to change. And then yeah, so you can only change yourself. You can't even change your spouse. You know, your spouse is the next closest thing to you, but yet if they're not willing to change, there's nothing much you can actually do about it.
Okay. Yep. That's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah. So if you have kids, you know, please.
Yes. If you have kids, please
raise them to be humble and not entitled, and do not give them what they don't deserve.
Make them work for it.
Yeah, make them work for it.
Make them work for it.
Make
I think
really work for it.
Now this comes to a very interesting subtopic when we talk about raising kids, entitlement, phones. It's fast becoming a norm.
Yes,
I'm gonna say it's fast becoming a norm for a kid to have a phone.
Yeah.
And once they get the phone, then of course kids are not dumb. They will Google. They've got friends. They've got peer pressure, and comes from the cheap Android phone to the mid-range Android phone to the iPhone SE to the high-end iPhones and all. With parents, I think we can't tell you what to give your kids.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be a good practice to let your kid be the one who helps you decide let them do the research. So if you want something, why don't you research and tell us what do you need it for and which model fits? And if you want something that's higher model, what would be the added benefit, or what would the cost be? It's a very interesting topic I was discussing with my wife yesterday regarding this, and you know, a couple of years from now, my son's going to be old enough to demand a phone. I'm thinking, how in the world am I going to do that? Is it an entitlement to give it to him, and what model to give it to him, and what cost?
Yeah, so mobile phones used to be luxury. You know, it used to be a luxury item. Only the richest of the rich or the business people really need it. Then, of course, you know, when I was in college, I got my first mobile phone from my parents. Then now it has become a necessity. You know, I can't leave house without a phone. And that is coming from a generation whereby we grew up without phones, and we only handed phones in our mid-teens to late teens or early 20s. Whereas in kids these days, the moment they are born, there are phones all around them. So phone is definitely a necessity. If you ask me, it's definitely it's part of life. It's part of their life. Like it or not, it's really part of their life. Now, then, do they deserve the phone? Like as you say, you know, if you want the phone, you need to justify to me why you want the phone. You know, what are you going to do with the phone? And after I've given you the phone, and after you've decided what model and how are you going to control the use? How are you going to self-regulate the use of your phone? Are you going to be sitting there with the phone and ignoring me at the dinner table every time you have dinner? Or are you going to be using the phone only to do your research and communicate with your friends for a certain amount of hours a day? Then the phone stays kept, you know, stays aside. But of course, it also depends on the parents. You know, as parents, sometimes we are also guilty of
overusing it.
Overusing our phone. You know, ignoring the kids. The kids are sitting there playing, and then we whip out the phone, and then we go on Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp and reply messages, even though our kids are in front of us. And monkey see, monkey do lah. You know, they see us like this. Eventually, they'll grow up and they feel that they're entitled to it because mom and dad did it. So, you know, this is my right.
Correct.
So therefore, it's my right. I will be doing it. So I think as parents,
there's nothing wrong for me to do it because, you know,
exactly,
they're doing it. I'm just following, you know, good examples from my good old parents.
Yeah, exactly. So I think as parents, there's a lot of role that we have to play to ensure our kids and the future society don't become too entitled.
Now, this is something that I discussed yesterday about this and how to curb that entitlement of a mobile phone. Teach them contracts. Contract. I'm going to make a contract with you, my son. This phone that you want, I'm offering you an alternative, which is let's say if they ask for a phone that's 1,000 ringgit and you could find one at 800, then you negotiate.
Well, it's good. It's a good skill for your kid to have.
You can decide. Do you want this 1,000 ringgit phone, or would the 800 suffice? And you've got 200 in your pocket. Or well, let's take midway. I'll cut back 50% of that profit margin. So 800 and to 1,000 is 200. So 50%, 100 ringgit is yours if you settle for the 800 ringgit phone. And then after,
are you going to make them? Yeah. So are you going to make them do chores to actually get the phone, or upright is that, you know what, each of you get a budget of 1,000 ringgit for a phone?
Well, I think doing chores is nice, but then it makes the chores seem like insincere.
Okay.
Yeah, chores should still be done.
regardless of reward, right?
Regardless of reward, that's part and parcel. But that can be part of the contract.
That's true.
That can be part of the contract. This is your job. You should be doing it. There's no way that I should incentivize you to do it. However, failure to do so.
That's true.
Teach them about clauses. I think we can use entitlement to a very positive thing. So you're entitled to have the phone, fine. You're entitled to whether the Android or iPhone, fine. We negotiate on what's the price, but now we talk contract. So every year, as they get older, the contract gets a little bit more complex. Then there's breaking clauses. Then there's opting out.
Confirm your kids will grow up and become lawyers, man. You say, okay, my dad has scammed this. My dad has scammed this long enough. If we're going to be lawyers, you're going to scam him back for the rest of his life.
Upgrading, extending your contract, because they are going to face this same
yes they are
scams from Maxis, Cellcom, you name it. You buy a package, then you suddenly realize 6 months down, or hell, let's say you sign up today for a package and you tie down for 2 years, and then 2 months later they got a better package and you can't change.
That's true. That's true.
And it's not their obligation to tell you when something new was coming out, because the people at the front counter will say, I also don't know. So
that's true.
It's luck.
That's true.
So, but I think
that's true.
I will probably use that. I think entitlement, switch it to a contract, and teaching them the value of a promise, contract, breaking it, losing it, being responsible for it. Even if you break the phone, there's going to be penalties.
Yes.
So you better look after them. I sound so bloody cheapskate.
No. I would say it's actually something good to enforce at home, so that as you mentioned, sheltering your child from certain things isn't going to help them in life. They need to know that when they're out working in the future, when they're full-fledged adults, they need to be able to read clauses, to able to adhere to certain laws, rules, and regulations. Well, that's what human society is anyway. We are all governed by certain rules and regulations. It allows them to learn boundaries, allows them to learn responsibilities. And I think it's actually something very, very good. So my kids are still young. I probably a couple of years from that. But currently we still we have a domestic helper in the house.
That's good.
Right. We have a domestic helper in the house, so she helps around the house. However, the kids are not allowed to leave their plates or their cups or their stuff around. Because even though there is a domestic help around, they're not entitled to get the domestic helper to clean up after them. So they still have to go, put the plates into the sink. If they're tall enough, they need to wash the plates and all. They need to pack up. They need to pack up after themselves. They can't leave toys lying around. So hopefully that teaches them a little bit about responsibility and not feel entitled. It's not there's a maid around. I'm just going to leave everything here. Because that's my right. That's her job.
having a maid, having a domestic helper is double-edged.
Yeah.
I will openly admit what I used to do when I was young, when my parents had a domestic helper for 2 years. I got so bloody lazy, arrogant, and at the age of 11, I looked down on the maid, that you are the helper.
Really?
Seriously, I'll be very honest with you. So I looked down on the maid, even though the maid was actually a very nice lady. But I looked down on her, that you are the maid, you are here to serve. I behave like a tai siu like that, you know.
So I think you're not the only one. I've actually seen a lot of people do that as well. My family actually does it. Not my immediate family, but my extended family. They would talk about the maid as if she's not another human being. You know, she would say, "Oh no, she doesn't need all this. She doesn't need all this stuff around. It's only for us. For her job is to come here to clean up after us, to make sure our lives are easier. And after that, she goes to sleep. And the next day, she wakes up, and you know, everything's, you know, she has to do everything from start all over again. And then you know, we are not going to give her a day off. We won't give her her handphone and all. And then it actually devalues her life. You know, you're basically not looking at them as if they're your peers. You know, you're looking at them as if they are
slaves. Literally,
they are slaves. Yeah. They're a caste below. If currently there is no more caste system in our society, but there is always that social caste. You know, I'm middle class. She's lower class. So hence that's why I'm entitled. You know, not to give her certain stuff.
So that, again, it's something that, you know, as parents, you do that, you're going to breed, and the next generation is going to behave exactly the same way. That when we see someone else who are doing the kind of work that we don't want to do, and therefore I can throw my money at you, and therefore you do it for me, then you just mistreat people. You have no respect of another human person.
Yes, that's right.
They're not here to clean up your shit. They're here to make your life easier. They're actually doing the kind of things that you don't want to do.
Trust me, if given a chance, they also don't want to do it. But they need to make a living. They need to make a living. And this is how this is the best way they know how. So treat them with respect, treat them with respect as if how you treat a fellow family member. There's no difference.
That's true. I like the way that you get your kids to still pick up after themselves.
Force them with a cane, of course. Well, the rotan thing has gone out of fashion, but we just got the rotan yesterday. So
really?
So we just got rotan. It's only 1 ringgit. It's so cheap.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have on record that Dr. Ingky abuses his kids.
Guy, No. I have not used it yet. I have verbally threatened them. Even just a couple of hours ago, I verbally threatened the older one. Hey, go to sleep now. If not, the rotan comes out. I verbally threatened them.
Just 1 ringgit. Imagine what 1 ringgit.
It's a 1 ringgit
discipline.
Well,
I'm more cheapskate than you. You want to hear my story about how cheapskate I am? I don't even buy the rotan. You know what I use?
What, you make it, is it?
Oh, how to make You know when people give free balloons?
Yes. The
stick?
plastic stick, yes.
Yeah. There's a reason why when my kids go out and then people want to give free balloons, they freak out. No. They never want to do that. Because it ends up being threatened on them later on.
For me, the rotan it's just the same as you do. The rotan is just a symbol that, you know, if you don't behave, you know, there's always a worse punishment.
There's a plan B.
There's always a plan B after that. There's always a plan B after that. You know, that was how I was brought up anyway.
But it's good to instill this kind of early discipline. This kind of early discipline is the one I think that would sort of like just mold them towards something hopefully better. They're still going to be entitled here and there, but
of course.
probably in a more controlled manner. Don't overdo it. It's fun. I would say it's fun. Sometimes I still do it. You have to admit, getting a reservation at a restaurant using a title always.
Of course. Yeah, I've even done it at airlines. Whereby, upfront I tell you I'm Doctor So and so, in hopes that I get a free upgrade. More often than not, they just ignore me.
They ignore you.
More often than not, they ignore me. They're like, no. So actually, there was one time. Yeah. Actually, there were a couple of occasions where I felt entitled to an upgrade or better treatment. So what happened was a couple of years ago. So I had a sporting injury. So I actually ruptured my ACL in one of my knees. So I was actually moving around on crutches.
Okay.
Right. So I was moving on crutches for a couple of months, and right after I actually injured myself, I was actually due to fly off to Korea and India within a span of like 2 weeks. To once 1 week in Korea and then 1 week in India. So I was there to attend medical conferences. So everything already pre-booked. So no choice. I have to go lah. So I would appear at the counter at the airport with my crutches on, and I say, you know what, I've injured myself.
All right.
Can I get an upgrade? because I have problem bending my knee, and economy class is tight. The seats in front of you is small, so I can't bend my knee. So can I get a free upgrade? Then they'll go through the system. I'm sorry, business class is fully booked, but we can upgrade you to a premium economy.
All right.
Okay. Then I felt entitled to be upgraded to the premium economy. Then of course I will try and push my luck again. I'll try and ask for different things. Can I get access to the business class lounge and all? Of course, luckily they say no. Otherwise I'll just keep pulling this trick the whole time.
All the time.
So at the time I felt entitled that that I want my free upgrade because I'm injured, even though I could have sat in economy class. There wasn't any harm. Yeah. So using my doctor badge and as well as my injury. So yeah, felt bad about it.
Where you got the upgrade? You got the upgrade at the ticket
at the counter itself.
At the counter itself, huh?
At the counter itself. So what they had to do was they had to bump a couple of people off their seats. So a couple of people were actually in premium economy. And premium economy is actually very close to business class.
Yes.
So basically, in premium economy, the seats are actually slightly more comfortable. Yes. The leg rooms are slightly larger.
Yes.
And a lot of times, people actually pay for those seats.
Yes.
So they actually had to bump those guys out. To bump them down, and then back to regular economy. In order for me to be able to sit there. But of course,
they were free upgrades too anyway, I'm sure.
They were likely free upgrades as well. That's why but I never asked anything more after that, right? So after I've tried, to ask for the free upgrades and all. Once I'm there, I never really pester the air stewardess. Even though they would drop by and ask me whether I want anything, I say no, it's fine. You go ahead with your work.
You see, the next time you want to do it, and if you're already on the crutches, and I'm going to teach people, I'm not sure if it's going to work, but try this out. When you book your seat online, there's actually a section that says special request.
Yes.
And you can actually click that, I'm on crutches. And then when you arrive, please insist on not walking with the crutches, but go on a wheelchair.
Yeah, that's what I did also actually. So while I was in front of the counter, then they actually asked me, do you need a wheelchair? Then I was thinking to myself, my God, the airport is huge. Yes, I need the wheelchair. Please wheel me to the gate.
Should have wheeled yourself all the way from the drop off itself.
Yes, but part of it was fun because I went through a special lane. Yeah, special lane for immigration. I didn't have the line up. I didn't have to stand an hour. I didn't have to wait an hour for immigration. I just went to a special gate, scanned my passport, and I actually went through. Yeah, so that part was fun. so at times I always think to myself, should I just whip out the old crutches and get a special quick lane or a special pass through through customs.
I don't condone such behavior, but if we ever travel, I want to see it happen. So I will record you live. You do the whole thing. I will record you secretly. And let's see, for the
Hey,
sake
I
of
had
our...
pictures. I had pictures that
No,
time.
no. We'll do videos.
Yeah, someone had
We'll
pictures of me in
that
a
was
wheelchair
legit.
and all.
That was real. Let's see if
That
we
was
can
legit.
fake. Let's see if we can fake and make it.
Yeah, I probably have to buy one of those small little crutches which can fold up, so I can appear in front of the counter with this fold up crutches, and the moment they're not looking, I just fold it back and keep it back.
Nah. Well, but yeah, you're right. But these kind of fun entitlements, sometimes it is fun. You get to jump the queue just because you're already injured.
Yeah,
milk a little bit. It's harmless milking. You didn't strong arm someone.
No, I didn't strong arm someone. I asked them nicely, can I have an upgrade? And then I told them it's okay if you don't have it. Then they said, no, we can try and work out something.
Yeah. Oh, interestingly enough, also, if you ever buy the Super Saver fares, there's no such thing as an upgrade. So for people who are listening in, if you want to upgrade, you have to actually go for the full economy fare.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything less than that, they'll never give it to you.
Yeah.
I had to find out the hard way. So I flew to Surabaya,
okay.
And the first time I flew in, the organizer of the talk bought the tickets for me, and they bought me on a full fare, and I was upgraded without any fuss. But they upgraded me at the gate, boarding gate, because the flight was so full. The next time when I flew, they asked if I could buy my own ticket because of whatever reason and because of the timing. So I said, okay, I'll buy the ticket. Me being me, all cheapskate, old fat, 40 years old. So I bought the Super Saver. The flight was full, like literally full. Every seat was taken on economy, but this time I didn't get an upgrade despite having the enriched, card and everything. And I was like, what happened? Then while flying midway, then I realized, oh, I got cheapskate.
Yes, because you bought the cheap tickets. Yes.
So for all you listeners, do not buy the cheapest ticket and demand your entitlement of a free upgrade. Doesn't happen.
Yeah. Now, talking about free upgrades, there was one time I was supposed to fly off to Egypt. So I was flying with Emirates. So it was a full flight. So of course, I try and ask, like anyone does, I try and ask. I was at the counter, hey, I'm flying off now. I want to ask him, is your business class full? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's pretty full. Yeah. Then I was like, there's no chance for an upgrade, is it? Then they were looking through it. I said, no, I don't think we can help you upgrade because it's really a full flight. And we even have a couple of people waiting on the sites who are on waiting lists. Wow. And they really need to fly. Of course, what Emirates did was they actually offered me, if you could give them your seat today, they will give you a 1-year open ticket business class to anywhere you want to go.
Wow.
Anywhere you want to go. 1 year open ticket business class to anywhere you want to go. And we will put you in a hotel tonight. Tomorrow you take the next flight out, right, to the same location. Unfortunately, I couldn't take it. I wanted to take it very badly. Unfortunately, I couldn't take it because my connecting flight from Dubai to Egypt, that was the one. If I missed that, then I would have been late for my medical conference there, and then it wouldn't have been worth it. But I wanted to take the free ticket. Man, it was a 1-year open ticket business class anywhere around the world.
It's interesting how they come up with this kind of concept. I had the same kind of treatment when I went to Carlton Hotel in Singapore. Not Ritz Carlton, but Carlton Hotel. That's in Raffles Place. So when I checked in, I got myself just a standard deluxe room. But apparently they're so fully booked. They're so fully booked that when I arrived, they checked me in, blah blah blah, and then they said, "Can we upgrade you to the suite?"
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, and I was like, "Wow, can't believe my luck." Then it dawned upon me, why would they do that? Because you just have to ask. It's not my birthday. I don't have any loyalty point. I bought it off those
Those
Agoda
discount
thing.
sites lah, something
Discount
like
sites.
Agoda. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even buy it from your website. So why would you upgrade me? And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out. Then it dawned upon me, because they're so fully booked, people are willing to pay for the standard room.
Yeah.
But they're not going to pay for the suite because it's too expensive.
That's right.
The suite was worth like, I think the standard room was about 200 Singapore dollars, but the suite was almost 600.
Oh,
big suite.
Big difference.
So no one's going to pay 600 for a walk-in, but they were willing to pay for 250 to 300 for the walk-in published price, because they didn't buy the website. So hence that's why they upgraded, which I thought, oh, cool, why not, man? Because I mean, it's a smart thing to do in a business sense. It's a very smart thing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Capture whatever business. No one's going to stay in the upgraded one. Just throw them off, man.
Yeah. Because if someone's standing at the counter at the reception, and they're really willing to pay for the standard room, and if they don't accept them, then they lose out on the couple of hundreds.
Yeah,
and likely this, and not only that, likely this person will not come back to the same hotel ever again.
Correct. Plus, then people like me would likely come back again.
Yeah.
Hoping to get another 600.
Exactly. You got a free upgrade. My God. That's nice.
It's a very nice story.
Nice story. But don't feel entitled to
don't feel entitled. Each time go there and ask,
upgrade all the time.
Yeah. But you know, we Asians, we like to do that. Last time I got one. Why now cannot?
That's right. Mala. Sometimes you just ask,
You ask
don't push it. You ask once. If they say no, then accept no as an answer.
Yeah, it's like, why? It's your fault that you paid for the $200 room. Okay, just stay with it.
Okay. So what's the moral of the story then?
So I think the moral of the story is entitlement. There are goods and the bads. We have to know that, while entitlement is usually seen in a bad light, especially when it comes to us, similar rank, so-called rank, entrepreneurs, business owners, and we get all these younger fellas who come in and try to push their weight around. We also have to see a way how we can overcome it. Either you have to, start picking the right people to join your team if you already foresee this kind of thing. I think for the younger generation, know that it's no harm to be humble. In fact, you probably open more doors, losing that entitlement, and occasionally use it for the fun of it. You see, like the ones that we have, it's all fun. It becomes a super good story. But the one that you push people around and be a total a-hole, it's not going to be a great story for yourself anyway. I mean, how often you're going to brag and say, hey, Ingky, last week I went there, I told them, and I pushed around that waiter, the dumb, stupid waiter doesn't know I'm not even a Dato Sri, but I lied to him.
Yeah, I lied to him.
So don't use it to be a total SOB and a-hole. I think treat everyone with equal respect and push your luck for fun, but don't push your luck to demand and think that it's your right.
Yeah, I think end of the day, understand what you're worth, but at the same time, if someone is not able to match your offer or to match your expectations, don't demand for it. Don't say no. This is my right. I demand I demand the respect or I demand what is rightfully mine. If they can't give it to you, then they can't give it to you. Don't demand for it. I mean, it's okay to ask. You ask once, ask twice, fine. But don't push for it, and don't be an a-hole. As you mentioned, don't be an a-hole. Don't go and scream and make life a living hell for the other person.
Yeah. Doesn't say much about your character.
Exactly.
And I think the challenge is always to find how to turn entitlement into a positive experience for everyone. Like for us, having a little bit of fun, or if it's raising kids, how you're going to start to use entitlement to coach them to be a better person, to see things differently, and prepare them for the future. So I think that's pretty much sums up what about entitlement that we want to share with everyone today. Yep. So Tony was asking us.
asking us
if we want to get to suffer and
to
do
get
another
ripped with him,
podcast.
is it? To get ripped with him, is it?
I've seen his routine. They're brutal. Have you seen the gym? Have you seen his gym videos?
I saw a couple of videos. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why now I know why he laughed at me when I talked about techno gym.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you prasan or not? When I said techno gym, he's like he gave that,
those kind of
that
fancy gyms.
Yeah, that sarcastic laugh.
Those kind of fancy gyms with with all those nice air conditioning and a nice drinking fountain. You should come to my gym. It's all rusty weights.
No, it's not rusty weights. But if you haven't,
it's not.
You go check out his Instagram and those equipment, they look like things that, they look like machineries in a factory that saws timber.
Yeah. I've actually seen it. Right, I've actually seen it. Yeah, you if you do agree, to go, call me along. I'm there just to video you. I'm just there to capture the video. I'm not going to participate.
If you video me, that's all I'm doing. I'm just going to be videoing you back at the same time. Right? That's it. I'll be like,
all right. So until the next time. All right. So yeah. So hopefully we're gonna have more interesting topics coming up then.
Yep. And also with new guests coming on. So this is us from the Two Dogs, Dr. Aly.
Yes. Yeah. Dr. Ingky here.
And we're signing out. See you guys.
Okay. See you. Good night.